Good evening, guys. My name is Nosipho Moelase. I'm a PGDE student at the Vaal University of Technology. Today we're going to be talking about assessment in higher education. We are going to focus more on the discussion of the paradigm shifts from traditional to modern assessment. Let's start by defining what assessment in higher education is. Assessment in higher education provides students with the knowledge and skills on key concepts and in guidelines for the assessment of student learning, as well as different forms and tools or for the student assessment in higher education. It focuses on the contemporary shift in paradigm from traditional to modern assessment in a student-centered learning environment in higher education, which emphasizes effective, interactive, and deep learning among students. It also includes the hands-on practical application of the contemporary perspective and practices of student assessment. Traditional and modern teaching approach. Education is important for social, political, and economic development. One of the roles of the facilitators is to provide guidance to students in progressive between levels of cognitive thinking. It deals with identifying and making a ruling on work of those being assessed according to their level of understanding thereof. Assessment is a central part of learning, requires reciprocation in its process. Learning and testing or assessing is affected by both parties, in this case, the student and the educator. The dilemma of traditional and modern assessment technique lie at the heart and purpose of teaching in itself and desired results. Traditional teaching method. A traditional teaching method, and in this teaching approach, the educator controls a student to learn through remembrance and recitation method. As such, the student does not build up their own basic reasoning, critical thinking, and basic leadership aptitudes. To transform the traditional teaching and learning approaches in the classroom, facilitators and educators need to step out of their comfortable teaching styles, which are depicted by the unfruitful instructions methods. Educators should not disempower students through deprive them of critical knowledge and the right to independently think. Modern teaching and assessment in classroom should be in a manner that creates opportunities for boosting the students' creative potential and their imagination rather than brainwashing the student with deceptive and elusive criteria of accuracy and objectivity. This transformation can be achieved by reorienting teaching and learning translator to facilitate in the process of communication. From traditional to modern approach. The modern teaching approach is a student-focused, action-based instructing strategy used to get students to participate and to be included in the process. The role of the instructor is to get the students to accomplish their learning goals of the lesson content through assignments. The traditional assessment. Traditional assessment is a sanctioned testing procedure or technique that utilizes inquiries with a set number of answers to choose from. Traditional assessments that are widely used include multiple choice questions, true or false, short answer, and essays question. As traditional tools are designed to test memorizing, the memorandum when marking is generally limited to only one answer, and it does not make allowance for the student's interpretation. Traditional assessment methods seek to determine what students have learned and the information they have retained throughout the lesson. The modern or constructive assessment. This assessment method differs from the traditional assessment. This method differs from the traditional assessment protocol and shift the focus towards the student. The modern assessment is a teaching and learning approach where students are actively engaged in making their own and building knowledge through the manipulation, creation, and exploring of new information in a way that will fit their belief system and enhance their future experience. This is why this is called constructive assessment. Examples of assessment methods includes building up portfolio of evidence, well-structured assignment, branch trees, as well as self and peer evaluation. Regardless of whether traditional or modern assessment methods are utilized, the assessment tool should make allowance for the solving of relevant problems, individual interpretation and completion, and encourage participation in a learning process. Understanding assessment as a way for improving student learning, adjust, and align with instruction. Teaching helps students to memorize, hence assessment should be done with the objective of expanding and developing the learning techniques and the process. We should also bear in mind that good assessment has an eye on students' weakness and strength to ascertain that they have gained the necessary skills and knowledge. In order for this to happen, teachers must attentive to diverse ways of assessment and not only to rely too heavily on a single method of assessment. Thank you.